Okay, so now here, to establish some more evidence here, an accumulation towards establishing mens rea to any predisposing excuse they try to claim. You know, here we've established the car here. The car here, that would go to, for example, Subway first. Subway first. Like subwoofers, car ears, subwoofers. This is why they brought Obama to the subway or to the Tasty Sub Shop in Edison, New Jersey. This are the other videos when I was going to march the Middlesex County Courthouse with all kinds of other evidence. The car here, that's the Tasty Sub Shop. That's the reference to the sub, then the subwoofer, subway first, and that. You know, and the whole this, that's all through this American gangster and the rapist and why it's called rap and all that. And then, of course, you know, like the whole, how they're all connected to the drug industry for the courts that are drug dealer dependent, and that's like the half baked when the movie where the guy is Brian is in there, and he's so obsessed with Jerry Garcia and the Grateful Dead, whose drummer is Mickey Hart. That's Hart's Lane is where I used to go play the drums all the time. That's where Elkins Road is too. They combined to Elkhart. That's where I was born. Then Mickey's Donuts was right next to the gas station I always worked at. That's East Brunswick to New Brunswick. Those drug dealers there to stab me to Johnson and Johnson and all that's okay. So the life of Brian, you know, there to the Mr. Anderson Matrix thing, which goes to Dominatrix. You'll notice the DOJ there. D-do-J. Is it really J or is it do S&M? So Dom's is the gas station Exxon that was right down the street from the Hess gas station right next to Mickey's Donuts in East Brunswick. And that's Peter, and I bet it came owned by Peter Neely. And this gets to the point where I bet you Peter Neely had some kind of complaints about me. For one, even though when I worked for him, one day after work, well, when I was only there a month, I came back in front of everybody. He said, Brian's getting a raise because he did so well today. I'm going over all that stuff. But you know what it is, think tanks, what's the perfect excuse is to claim that you're the state victim while you're going to try to use the state to victimize your victim further. So, to go further, for possible dominatrixes looking to do so, here, now claim they're state victims. They're a perfect alibi with the states that we've already established, no smoking, and there was no smoking in any of those videos here. We have to come to this folder here I call the New Jersey Devil Opposition Network. Adumbrating their whatchamacallit, adumbrating their simulation networks, their mens rea, predisposing anything. So we have to go through all this, which runs through the whole MGM here, you know, tracks the whole animation of MGM over to, you know, the Matrix movie, The Matrix, MGM, and then that's Lionsgate, and Lionsgate. That's in St. Augustine. That's apartment complex there, too. And let me just reiterate for 1 second. Before I was watching the videos for 2 nights, I was actually scanning them for evidence. Excuse me. I wasn't really watching them. I was scanning them through evidence, for evidence. So here, we figured out careers, you know, thermometer raping as a child there, that's all encrypted there. Then you get to Jeanette's. The vivification with this Jeanette Airlines, Area 51, that's the Air Force. But the Air Force were the McDonald case. Remember the McDonald case? Jeffrey McDonald, the doctor who supposedly killed his family, but then if you watch people like Ted Gunderson's video, ex-FBI claims, you know, he seems to associate, maybe he didn't do it, and these coke smugglers in the Air Force had, so, you know, that's jets and Jeanettes and airlines, Jeanette Airlines over there at Area 51, which is where all the hookers are in Nevada and Reno, prostitution, so they're all drug guys, we all established all that stuff, that's what you all say, anyway, so, it's pretty funny here that when you compress file that JETS, that's the initials. Jets. First of all, Jets are owned by Robert Wood Johnson, and that's part of this, you know, AMA group here, American Mental Association. We established all that in predisposing videos. So here, Jets, that's the initials of 2 people that tried to alibi themselves here as state victims, Jenny Epstein and Tenora Scott. Now, if you take their names and you run them through the simulation here, You see the A goes over there to C, and Scott goes over to the A and Tonora. Then the C3, the 3, C3, that's a medical term, C3 convertase, anyways. So, well, it's like C3PO too, but so that space, you would have to, I'll show you how that accounts for it. The E and Jenny goes over there, the P and Epstein goes over there. So, to this little side statement, that equals except not antennas in your body. How would you do that? Near operations as a child? Would your parents know if they were a local group involved with the Robert Wood Johnson group? It's pretty interesting. So over here we take this third ordinal where you had to account for the C. Here, the 6, you would run that SAT-N here at that. And then these ordinals over here, and it would come over to this side grid here that accounts for those spaces. Then where it says clone NASA. But, you know, people can say what they want about cloning. That's just another alibi. It's impossible. It's impossible 100% to clone anyone because a person is not their genetic makeup. A person is their photon absorption. The time, not any genetics. Everyone buys a car. A group of people buy a car that says Ford on it. The sequence F-O-R-D are cloned on every single one of them, but every single one of the cars is absolutely different, even if before they're even driven by the people. One person, this car's wrench is torque. This car's bolt is torque more than this one's isn't. This one got scratched and this over there, and then eventually the more they go on, the less they are the clone of the F-O-R-D. So that's a bunch of crap. Another alibi for all these slimy ass little want to claim that every other government in history was some kind of domineering, inhumane government, and they're suddenly not. So you would go through all this here. Here too. Like her brother, Landy Epstein, Amanda Yatsko here, and that's a map at White Sands, not Indiana. White Sands is where Jornadad Del Muerto is. Jorn was my second stepfather that had me move to New Jersey. That's in other predisposing videos. Jorn Augustine was his name through DACAMs. Jornadad is the White Sands area where they tested Trinity bomb, and Trinity, of course, you know, that's the name for the Matrix there. That's pretty interesting. What a coincidence that could be. Oh my goodness, state victims. Could you just imagine this? No think tank would ever think to say, well, let's alibi ourselves as state victims and we'll claim that he's the criminal here. So I went through this on, you know, all kinds of people that I once associated with, that, you know, have suspect in their perspective involvements at points in time. You know, and there, of course, here's that whole violent leash is muse and stimulate violent Pavlovian response proven as an encryption in the periodic table of elements by the mathematics there too, or from it. So, and you know, thermometers raped Uranus in the hospital thing, slit up a child, anal canal, that's the whole atomic thing there.